It's a beautiful day, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update of what I've got accomplished. So, behind me, I've got my whiskey barrels. They're all planted with my determinate tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. So I'll show you those, and then I got two of my green stalks all planted. The third one's going to go in the community garden, sort of variety, so that when people see the green stalk, they can be inspired and say, okay, this is what I can plant. So let me turn you around and just give you a quick view of, what I got planted. Okay, this is a view of some of my herbs. Some of them, I've got them replanted, and others I have to, do a little thinking with. I've got some chives. Here's my chives. And this garlic is ready. I used it for a demonstration. That's why it's in the pot, but you can grow garlic in a pot. And here's the scapes. I left them on so I could let people know what scapes were. I still got some green peas going here. This is cilantro, and it's bolted and it's going to seed, but the birds will love it. If you plant cilantro, sometimes it's better to just plant it in the shade because it just doesn't do well with, the sun. And I got a little flowers going here, and obviously some lavender and some thyme, and the thyme and the chives are perennials, so they'll come up next year. So I got that going. And then here is my second green stalk, and I decided to put it on one of those swivel bases because I got a lot of different things growing in here. So I think the next time I get a green stalk, I'm going to put the swivel base on it because I kind of like that. So down the bottom I've got green beans and yellow beans, and then I've got a whole bunch of greens. They're like Napa cabbage. Again, I have to keep the Napa cabbage going for my son-in-law because he loves that kimchi. So here's some more of my greens. And I planted a whole tier of carrots, and I planted it up a little higher because we have bunny rabbits. I don't want them to eat my carrots. And then up here I've got some red nasturtiums, and I thought that would be pretty to, drape down the side. The nasturtiums you can eat. You can eat the flowers, and the leaves kind of taste peppery, kind of like arugula. And now this is a dwarf sunflower. I'll show you the variety. My sister sent me that. So when it blooms, I'll think of my sister every time I come into the front door. So that's what I got going there. And then I told you I planted this green stalk around Mother's Day. I've got two varieties, ever-bearing, June-bearing strawberries. So next year I'll have a nice crop of strawberries. Again, I may have to get another green stalk so I can plant some more strawberries. The nice part about this is that the strawberries never touch the ground, so they're nice and clean, and you can just pick them right off. I put a few marigolds in there. And then this is my tomato row. So what I did was I planted all these tomatoes in whiskey barrels. They're all labeled. Some of them need to be staked up. I have wire foldable cages that are going to go over that. And I've got Sun Gold for a sweet yellow cherry tomato. And then I've got Juliet. And that's a grape tomato. And I love it. I love it. So this one is called Delicious. That is a determinate variety. And I also have Rutgers. This one is Hasseneger. That one I got from Haas Seeds, so I'm kind of interested to see what that ends up being. That's a new one for me. This one is Bella Rosa. I think that's a little pink tomato, so again, another new variety for me. And this one is Independence Day. So they're all slicing tomatoes. I don't do well with the big beefsteaks. I'm not a big hamburger eater, and I find that the big beefsteaks are kind of watery for me. So I like the slicers and the cherries. And this little bit of the garden is on my driveway, so I get to notice when I have bugs or if it needs to be watered. I can pick things out of this garden for supper. So I've got two more buckets to plant. I think I'm going to put my Amish paste in there. That's an indeterminate, so I'm going to need to do some kind of trellis thing. So we'll see how that goes. And then this is my little working table. This is the bottom tier to one of my green stalks, and that's going to go in the community garden. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant these and get them all germinated, and then I'm going to bring them to the community garden and stack them. Hopefully I'll remember not to water them when I'm going to stack them, because it makes it really heavy. But I love this green stalk. I am affiliated with them. I'll put my coupon code in the description below. If you want to get one of your own, it's $10 off. And I think they're having a sale on buy one, gets another one for 60% for 4th of July. So get yourself one. They are fabulous. This green thing here is horseradish that I just started from a piece of root. And I wanted to get it going and keep it in the pot because horseradish will take over your garden. So I want to be able to figure a place to plant that permanently, that it's not going to get into trouble. These are my sun golds. I got to plant them over there in that box. And then I got some shih peppers. That's new for me this year too. So I might put those ones in the green stalk. We'll see. And then these are cucumbers. Now this variety produces all female flowers. So if you like cucumbers, you'll get a million cucumbers. The only downside to it is you can't plant them next to other cucumbers because they'll cross-pollinate, and then the cucumbers will be bitter. Now, I'm trying to form a lavender patch for myself, so I have a bunch of lavender that I bought, and I also have some that I'm going to propagate. So I have stuff to get into the ground, so I haven't really done much with the lavender. And this is some oregano that I potted up from my brother. My brother got one of those outside pizza making machines, so I thought I would bring him some oregano. Oregano in my area is a perennial. Now here are my potatoes, and I planted those the end of April, maybe mid-May, and I've got a bunch of different varieties. Got Yukon Gold. I've got Irish Cobbler. I've got, I think I've got Pontiac. Yeah. What else do I got? German Butterball. I like that one. And then I've got some rose fin fingerling. So the thing is with potatoes, when they start growing up, you need to just keep putting more soil on them, and then when they're ready to harvest, it's going to be in a couple of months, I'll just dump up these buckets in my wheelbarrow, and that way I'm not digging trenches. And then this is my work in progress. I told you the deal with the trees. These trees came down in a storm in December, and right where this wood chip pile is, I used to have a garage. So it looks a little messy, with all the chunks of wood that are out here, and a ladder and stuff that used to go in my garage, but that's something else I'm working on. So my plan is to get all of these wood chips and put these down, keep the weed pressure down. And then over here, I gotta finish painting the fence. It's not paint, it's linseed oil, and that I'm going to use just to keep the fence in good condition. And these are my rhubarb. So I got a bunch of different varieties because I'm restarting my rhubarb patch. I used to have a rhubarb patch over there, and that piece of ground got run over by an excavator, so I have not seen any signs or symptoms of my rhubarb plants. So that's why I'm planting these. So I have Canadian red, I have Valentine, I have crimson red, I have some Victoria at the community garden, so I have access to that. And I bought these solar path lights at Home Depot, and I just love them. When it's late at night, I mean, like 8:30, 9 o'clock, when the sun goes down, I'll just water my garden, and the path lights just give me just enough light. And if the mosquitoes are hungry that night, I'll grab a little catnip and rub the catnip on my skin, and that way the mosquitoes think I taste yucky and they leave me alone. So, good tip. It also draws cats to you, so if you don't love cats. Now these are my blueberries, planted in whiskey barrels. I gotta finish doing the fence over here. So there's the before and after shot. The top part has linseed oil, the bottom does not. And I think I'm gonna put more path lights down here because I think they're beautiful. And here is my blueberries. Look at those. So I am going to go to the fabric store and get myself some green tulle. Tulle. It's a netting thing. And I'm going to put it over these branches because I want a few of these blueberries for me. And as soon as they turn ripe, the birds are going to get them. So that's the plan for that. Okay, I'm back from Joann Fabrics, and I got myself some tulle, Tulle. And then I decided the color green would look, less intrusive in my garden. So this is what the stuff looks like. And I bought about 10 yards. It's $1.99 a yard. And I'm going to put it over the blueberries so that the birds don't get them. So you gotta do it before the blueberries turn blue, because the birds know exactly when the blueberries are ripe. And look at, I got bunches and bunches and bunches in here. These are, some of the older plants that I planted. So I don't know if these are 5 years old or something like that. And so this is what I did. I took the tulle and I wrapped it around the clump of blueberries, and then I put some clothespins on there. So I'm going to see how that works. I'm going to try a couple of different things. I got some of these binder clips. So I may, wrap the tulle down over the cage and then just put the binder clips on the cage to hold the tulle, because the binder clips have some weight to them. And this one over here that I put the clothespins on, it's because the branch is up there bending over, and I thought if I put the binder clips on there, it would be too heavy and it would bend the branches down and break off my blueberry plant. So I didn't want to do that. Now here is the other blueberry bush, and see, This is the perfect time because we've got a couple of blueberries. And this is actually one of those plants that I put my sticks in. If you can see past my thumb here. This is called powder blue, and it's a late season blueberry. Now remember, with blueberries, a lot of them need to have a partner. You need to plant 2 blueberries. But if you plant one early, one mid season, and one late, you don't have enough plants because you need 2 plants that flower at the same time so that the pollination happens. So you'd need 2 early, 2 mid season, 2 late. See? Look at all those blueberries. I always loved to put a handful of blueberries in Rice Krispies in the morning. That's what I did as a kid. But now I like blueberry pancakes and blueberry muffins and blueberry pie. And I'm building a blueberry patch. So every year I add another variety. And they grow beautifully in these whiskey barrels along the fence here. So I've got 2 more that I have to plant that are going to go in that spot right there. I have 2 Darrow, Darrow, and that's an early variety, so I'm anxious to put that in there. And I've been putting my path lights here. They're solar, and I like to clean up the plant, prune it, and fertilize it, and then stick a path light in there, and that tells me, okay, that plant's all done, so move on to the next. So I hope this works well with the tulle. Let me know what you do with your blueberries. Leave me a comment, because I just love, love, love blueberries. And I got to get after this mess back here, but Rome wasn't built in a day, so if you're a new gardener, don't make yourself crazy trying to get everything done. I've got a bunch of transplants in the house, so if I have any failures, I can replace the plants. These guys all need a little bit of water, but this is where I'm going to put my indeterminate tomatoes. And I still have some onions. I like to plant onions everywhere because it deters the deer. It doesn't prevent them from coming in your yard, but makes your garden taste yucky to them, and they'll go somewhere else. Obviously, this raised bed is half done. I'm not going to fill it all with compost or anything like that because that's too much to put in there, but I'm going to put some of these chips in here, these wood chips, and let that decompose. I'm hoping that wood prices come down so I can buy some more wood. These are 4x8, and they're held together by these cement corners. Now, these round ones I got at Lowe's. So I'll get maybe another one or maybe a third one. I might go a couple layers high so that the bunnies don't get in, but it's like everything, it's when I get to it. I did go through and prune all my irises after they bloomed. So I got to figure out a place for them. But again, having them in pots, I can kind of plan out the garden and just move the pots around. I've got a couple of trellises. Those I'm going to use for squash or things like that, but I may put the squash over against the fence. Now these little buggers need water, and these are my cucumbers and my corn. And the idea is the corn's going to grow up and make a stalk, and the cucumbers are going to grow up around the corn stalk, and hopefully that will keep the raccoons from taking the corn. I don't really care for the corn necessarily, but I want to see if planting the cucumbers around the corn keeps the raccoons away. They don't really like to climb on the leaves of the cucumbers because those leaves are kind of all prickly. So we'll see if that works. But I'm always curious about things. See what works, what doesn't work. This tarp is to kill the weeds. So I'll be putting some more raised beds in there. I don't know. I might do some of those Virgo beds, those metal ones. We'll see. Always have to check out the finances when you get too crazy at the garden store. I got some volunteer, if you can see way in the distance, that little white flower. That's a morning glory, so the birds planted that for me. And I like the morning glories because the deer don't like them, so hopefully that keeps the deer away. Here's another partial bed that I made before the tree episode. So I might keep this in here. We'll see. But it's the same concept as the other one. Get rid of all this darn bishop weed. That stuff is awful. So this is what the little corner thing looks like. It's the same thing as the other bed, but this one's square. So if you like square over round, this one I got at Home Depot. Now I got to take the weed whacker and get rid of all this bishop weed. And my plan for this corner is to have it all filled with sunflowers. That way the birds can enjoy the sunflowers and the seeds, and the squirrels too. And I have chipmunks. But that will be a good spot because I don't want the sunflower seeds to fill up my garden beds. And then I still have these patio bricks that my neighbor gave me. So we'll see what I do with that. So this is kind of the before picture and the update picture of how far I've come in the time I've had this summer. So if you like what you see, subscribe. That helps my channel. Hit the notification button. That'll tell you when I post another video. Give me a like. Add a comment. Tell me what your challenges are with your garden. And like I always say, I'll see you in the next one. Happy gardening.